Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of this gathering, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm going to briefly take you through the history of the Islamic University in Uganda. And in a way, this is not a presentation that I made at Duke, but this is one that was made on 10th of February 2013, while we were celebrating our 25th anniversary. So in a way, it gives you a comprehensive overview of the university from inception up to now. The name Islamic University in Uganda was finally agreed on after a prolonged debate on whether it should be Islamic University in Uganda or of Uganda. As an OIC establishment, it was finally agreed that it has to be Islamic University in Uganda, although the non-Muslim Ugandans wanted it to be Islamic University of Uganda, said that Uganda owns it. But eventually the Muslims won, and we ended up with an Islamic University in Uganda. So whether it is a success story or not, maybe that will come out of the presentation at the end of it all. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity. I thank Triple IT for the invitation, and the distinguished members for also attending. You cannot talk about the Islamic University in Uganda this time around without thanking the OIC and the government of Uganda for their contributions, and also a number of other Islamic organizations that have continuously supported the university from the day it started up to today, and that is Islamic Solidarity Fund, Islamic Development Fund, Bank, you have the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the rest. Universities, as we know, they play three important roles. That is teaching, research, and community service. But in as far as the Islamic University in Uganda is concerned, we felt that there has to be something else that has to be added to the three roles, and that is producing graduates who possess the human values that make them global citizens. That touch was very important. And when you look at the Islamic University in Uganda, the history goes back to the 10th of February 1988. This is when it was finally established. And from that time, the university opened doors for other institutions of higher learning to also be established in the country. By 1962, there were only 2 Muslim graduates in the country. By our independence, there were only 2 Muslim graduates in Uganda. And there was only one university, and that is Makerere University. So after the establishment of the Islamic University in Uganda, that landscape had to change. And as we speak now, there are over 38 universities in the country, and 5 of them, of course, are 6 government-owned, while only 1 is an Islamic university. And of course, as a reaction to the establishment of the Islamic University in Uganda, there were so many other Christian-founded universities that were established. So that is part of the history again. The decision was taken in 1974 in Lahore, Pakistan, during the second OIC summit, which was attended by the then President of Uganda, Idi Amin. And when a proposal was made to establish universities in Africa, two Islamic universities in Africa, one to attend to the interests, to the needs of the Anglophone African countries, and one for the Francophone African countries. So the Anglophone Idi Amin had to suggest that Uganda hosts the university, and that is how it started. These other details, I don't think they are really important, but of course it tells you that from 1974 to 1988, when it was finally started. It was a very long period, and there are so many challenges. The civil war in between, and the misunderstandings between the Muslims and non-Muslims, the Christian government of Obote too, and partly Museveni's government, where some members even said that this university will be established over my dead body. They went to the extent of actually saying that simply because they never wanted the Islamic University in Uganda to start. 1987, a joint committee agreed to transform a secondary school called Nkoma SS to the university, and that is the Islamic University in Uganda. And of course, some staff were appointed. There were 15 in total, and these ones actually had to take the responsibility of establishing, ensuring that the university is opened by 10th February 1988. What were some of the initial challenges? Of course, renovating the facilities from a secondary school to one that really fits a university status, converting a day school into a boarding university, deciding on what is to be taught. This was the biggest challenge, because you have a university, yes, but what are you going to teach? That was a very big challenge. Setting up teaching and learning facilities, libraries, availing books, and recruiting students, recruiting staff, and convincing the country and the world that indeed IU was a university. This was, I think, the biggest task, because never in Uganda had people started thinking of an Islamic university, especially in a country where the population of the Muslims it ranges between 12% and 35%. 12%, that is the official government position. And if you go to some of the Muslim organizations, the Adnan Ali Islamia will tell you that Ugandans, the Muslims in Uganda are between 30 to 35%. When you go to the Islamic World Almanac, it tells you that the Muslims in Uganda are around 45%. Maybe it is simply because of the noise that Idi Amin made while he was the president, because it could not be imagined that a minority Muslim country could be the host of a Muslim or an Islamic university, for that matter. So the statistics, you'll find them, of course, changing from who is giving you the information. What opportunities did we have then? Of course, OIC wanted the university to start as soon as possible, and there was also that goodwill from the president. He wanted the university to start as an individual. And of course, the other opportunity was that Makerere University was not in a position of admitting all the students who qualified to enroll for university education. Therefore, it became to be an opportunity for IUIU. And of course, there were also people who are ready to sacrifice. And as my rector wants to put it always, IUIU is all about a mission. If you want to work in IUIU, then you're just going to be serving a mission. But if you really want a job, then he discourages people to come to IUIU because they'll never manage. That was the beginning, 1988, with 80 students and only 2 faculties, Faculty of Education and Faculty of Islamic Studies and Arabic Language. So the question was, up to that moment, is it really true that Muslims who are only 12% in the country are establishing a second university in the country? And it was only a matter of time for people to finally see whether there's an Islamic university in the country or not. Now, we had to take on the Makerere model of a university. And I think it was a way of starting on the wrong footing, because everything was meant to be free. Free education, free accommodation, free transportation, and also allowances to students, which could not be sustained, as we will be seeing later. And of course, the curriculum was all from Makerere, and as I said earlier, adding that moral component was another important ingredient of what finally became the Islamic University in Uganda, with emphasis on those few issues. Dress code. A student in the Islamic University in Uganda, irrespective of whether he or she, whether she is a Muslim or not, she must dress, she must put on hijab, a proper hijab. And a student in the university must learn Arabic, introductory Arabic and introduction to Islam. These are compulsory papers, irrespective of their religious affiliations. So this was our vision, which is still, of course, there, and emphasis was on production of an all-around believing individual who is capable of participating fully in his or her society. And that Islamic ingredient was paramount. The mission was all about producing well-cultured, morally upright graduates of sound character, which was not the case with Makerere University. Being a secular university, students in that university were free to do whatever that they want. And people used to believe that the moment you join Makerere University, then you have now attained your freedom in life to do and behave the way you want. So in 1991, we started experiencing some challenges. And as you remember, 1991 is a time when the first Gulf War, that was the time. And of course, some of our donors, mainly the Arab countries, started now feeling the pinch of the war. And as a result of that, the funding started becoming a problem. Secondly, there were some internal contradictions in the system, and this led to finally the sacking of the second rector, who was Professor Hack, and of course appointing an acting rector who stood in for some time until Professor Adam Mahdi from Nigeria was appointed as the third rector of the university. By 1995, we had to start now thinking of changing the model, all the way from Makerere, the Makerere model, to a model that suits an Islamic university. And secondly, we also had to think twice with regard to, are we really going to continue with the university if that the free education, free accommodation, free everything still continues. And this is when the university decided that students have to start now paying tuition. And that was the main reason as to why the university is still in place up to now. But again, it raised a number of questions. Yes, you are going to start levying fees or tuition on students. What is going to happen to that brilliant student who is poor? He cannot afford to pay tuition, but he also is, he's brilliant, he's good enough. What is going to happen to such a student? So we had to think in terms of getting scholarships to help such individuals, which scholarships were also not enough. And even when the tuition was finally implemented, the requirement was for students to really give us enough money to run the institution. We needed at least $1,500 as tuition per year, which is not even enough to pay, I think, a student in the US for 3 or 4 weeks. But this was for per year, $1,500. And eventually we realized that they can only afford around $600, which is not enough. And given the background of our students, of our clientele, we still felt that we should charge tuition that is not going to keep away the students from coming to the university, and find ways of sustaining the university. The period between 1995 to 2004, we experienced a number of challenges, and this, of course, emanated from lack of revenue, and staff who are not paid their salaries, and the statutory obligations are not also being paid, lack of infrastructural development, such shortage of basic teaching facilities, and eventually it led to also student strikes. If you don't have the facilities and you're calling yourself a university, why don't you just close down and go? So, and at the end of it all, some of the lecturers, staff who are not paid for some time, decided to take the university to court. And there is one interesting thing here that I really have to mention. At a time when staff were taking between 6 months to 1 year without earning a single penny, but they were still working. Interestingly, they were still working. 6 months without salaries, and they were still working. And out of the so many who were working, the non-Muslim staff were the ones now going around and telling the other Muslim colleagues, let us continue working. Let us continue working. We know that this money will come sometime. Let us continue working, because if we stop working right now, it is our students who are going to suffer, but not the institution or the administration. We are aware that they don't have the cash, they don't have the money. If at all they had the money, they would be in position to at least clear our areas. So since 2004, I think I will say this without any fear of any contradiction, things started changing with the change in the management of the university. Simply because of the appointment of Dr. Ahmad Sengendo as the director of the university. He was foresighted, and as one of the pioneer staff in the university, he knew exactly what was expected of the university. And there were a number of structural and administrative changes that have finally pushed us to where we are right now. And as I speak, salaries are paid by the 25th day of the month, and there is no staff who has arrears even for that period where money was not available. Now, this is some simple statistics of how we have performed since 1988 in terms of student enrollment. We are currently having, actually these statistics are excluding the first years who have just joined and they're in the process of registration. But if you consider the first years, will be around 9,000 plus students who are around the 4 campuses of the university. The main campus is in Mbale, I think 30 minutes drive from the Kenyan borders. Kampala campus, where I'm the director, is in the heart of the city. And we also have a females-only campus, the first of its kind in the region so far, and it has around 9,000 students. Then we have the Arua campus, which is in the north, with the least number of students, and these come from around 21 countries all over the world. I don't know whether this will make sense. This is the location of the campuses. Of course, the main campus is number 1. Kampala campus is number 2 there. Number 3 is the Arua campus, and number 4 is the females campus. We are currently running 56 academic programs in 6 faculties. These are the faculties of Islamic Studies and Arabic Language, Faculty of Management Studies, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, and Faculty of Law. And all of these 56 programs are fully accredited by the National Council for Higher Education, which is our regulatory body. And that makes it easier for us, for our students. Once they graduate, they can enroll in any university in the world without facing any problems, since the programs are fully accredited. And also have some postgraduate programs, a couple of them under the Center for Postgraduate Studies. And of course, these are masters and PhD programs, mainly in Sharia Arabic language, public administration, and economics. And this is simply as a result of not having enough human resource in the other faculties to run PhD programs. Graduation, these are students who have so far graduated. If you look at the percentage there, 60%, 61% are male and 39% are females. And for your information, these also include the non-Muslim students. Graduates, of course, they are found almost in all parts of the world. Majority of them, a big number of them is in IUIU. Some of them are holding PhDs. The director of the females campus is one of our pioneer students in education. The Dean, Faculty of Islamic Studies and Arabic Language, is a graduate of IUIU. The Dean, Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, is also our graduate. The director of our campus is our graduate. So, and we have some of them as ministers and members of parliament, a good number of them. Staff, these are just, I think, information for you. They are from 8 different nationalities. We used to have staff from Sudan and India. Right now we don't have from Sudan, we don't have from India, but there are some from Pakistan, we have some from Sierra Leone, we have some from Egypt and Nigeria. Because we really want to survive as an institution, we do not compromise on quality at all. Not at all. So we have a quality assurance committee that is headed by the Vice Rector Academic Affairs that ensures that whatever that we do is in line with the requirements of the National Council for Higher Education. We involve our students in the evaluation of the lecturers on a semester basis. Every semester they must evaluate the lecturers, and the feedback is always given to the lecturers. We have external as well as internal examiners, and we have external assessors of our programs. These are mainly organizations as CESCO, University Council for East Africa, and the others. And we have had visiting professors from a number of countries. From the US, we have had from Southern Illinois, we have had also from Mercer University, and we have had from Colorado, Germany, and some from the Muslim world. We do some research, although the funding is a very big challenge there. And there are a number of organizations that have really helped us, like the World Bank, European Union, ISESCO, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the others. We have a research, publications, and innovation department that pushes our research agenda, which has really worked hard to ensure that people move in that line. We have won a number of awards internationally and nationally. The last second, which are not captured here, one was I think last month in Malaysia. The second one was on 9th of October, just a few weeks ago in Uganda. And we have also just received another one on the 18th of this month, that is last week. So we have some ongoing major research, one of which is on oral Muslim history, which is funded by ISESCO, and also trying to work on the Muslim education in Uganda. And this is basically locally funded by IUIU and the Uganda Muslim Teachers Association. We engage in a number of community service, dawah activities across the country, immunization programs, training of Muslim leaders, imams, and also supporting some of the needy people in the neighboring districts. We have a very good Zakat fund, which was established, I think, some 6-7 years back, where the staff in the university pay Zakat out of their salaries. And this money is used to address a number of needs, paying students scholarships, treatment of the sick, buying motorcycles for the imams, at least to continue doing dawah in the area, and so many other different ways of helping. The Hajj program, of course, we have been receiving some donations from Al Nahyan Foundation in Emirates, which has enabled some of our staff to go and perform Hajj. And these are staff, students, as well as members of the community. What are our challenges? Our challenges as a growing institution, it is 25 years, but it has not really been easy. Lecture rooms. What you're seeing, the second and the middle picture there and the last one, these are actually lectures going on, but they are under trees, and this one is just outside the lecture room. Yes, in the open. And it's not something that has stopped happening. Even if I think if there are lectures going on right now, it's just that they have already gone to bed. It's 7 p.m. right now in Uganda. But if there are lectures to be going on right now, you will find some lectures actually taking place under the trees. Simply because we don't have enough facilities, and the number of students who have really had faith in the institution is overwhelming. Majority of whom are non-Muslims. You will find people crossing all the way from the eastern part, the western part of the country, going through the Kampala area to the eastern part of the country, simply to take their daughters to the Islamic University in Uganda. It's all because of the faith they have in the institution. And this, in a way, of course, you can only have enough for you to buy it, but at times it becomes very hard. Of course, staff houses, library space. Library is one of our biggest challenges. Some secondary schools that really have enough money have better libraries than what we have. So offices, sports facilities, and students' residences. At least we have had 2 student hostels that were built 3 years ago using an IDB loan, and this is now accommodating around 1,200 students, in addition to what was already in place. Second challenge is, of course, is finances. The government does not contribute a single penny to the university. Unlike IIUM, where the government takes the lion's share of the budget. Our government in Uganda does not pay a single penny to support the budget of the university. What is only done is in terms of tax exemption, where we import a few things like building construction materials from abroad, then we normally get that tax exemption. We have limited grants and donations. That is why the scholarships that we have per year altogether does not exceed 50 scholarships. And the needy students, of course, the number is big. We have only one endowment, and that is the King Fahd Plaza, which was constructed by the late King Fahd, and it is in the heart of the city. So it is helping us realize some funds, but that is not enough for an institution as big as IUIU. And of course, we rely up to 80% on tuition. So if the students don't pay, that means we will not even raise the funds that are required. Challenge number 3 is in staff welfare. The salaries are not enough. When we started in 1988, we were the best paying university, and we were actually paying in dollars. But 25 years later, there has not been any increment, and the other universities are even paying better than we do. And that has led to them attracting even some of our staff to go and work for them, simply because they can pay better than we do. The competition that we're getting from other universities is also another challenge right now. As I said earlier, there are over 38 licensed universities in the country, and that in a way is also not helping us. What are our future plans? Consolidate the gains. What we have done good so far, I think we're trying to consolidate that. Try to ensure that we don't cruise on the morality part of it, because that is one area that is making us sound in the education sector. Improving our financial base, we need to have more endowments. The government has just given us 7 acres of land, prime land in the city, but we're still trying to find now resources. What are we going to do on that 5-acre piece of land? We need to mobilize more grants and donations, and also work on some income generating projects, and find more scholarships. Up to 20% of our students actually fail to proceed with their education simply because they cannot afford to pay for themselves.
What is the percentage again?
20%.
20%.
Yeah, 20%. Yeah.
Where's that in relationship to the other universities?
Pardon?
Where's that percentage?
The dropout rate compared to other universities
I think ours is high because,
of the financing.
yeah, and our tuition compared to the other universities is the lowest. But where you have it like that, you still have a very big percentage of the students dropping out. And why they don't drop out, what happens is that they are halted. You fail to pay tuition for one semester, then you're halted. You cannot do exams, and therefore you have to be halted. Then they'll go look for money.
Pressures for income.
Yeah. Go look for money, then come back later and begin from there. So a course that should have been completed in 3 years, you'll find a student who really needs to have that education, completing the course in 5-6 years. Yeah. So our new programs, we're planning to start the Faculty of Health Sciences, focusing on medicine, pharmacy, and surgery at Kampala campus by January next year. We're working with Lahore University, which is going to be helping us with, in some ways, provision of materials, reading materials, and I think seconding around 2 staff to come and stay with us for some time in that program. Engineering and masters in IT are also in the pipeline. And in conclusion, although at the moment there are challenges that we have not yet overcome, we should not despair. We still think that we have done a very good job. For us to stay afloat for the 25 years, in spite of all the challenges, we still feel that that alone is a success in itself. And it's just a matter of ensuring that we add to that, and we'll continue, inshallah. There is that quote there that my rector wants always to use, that I cried because I had no shoes until I saw a man who had no feet. So where we are right now, yes, there are some universities that have no feet. For us, we only have no shoes. There is hope that we'll get the shoes and use it, inshallah, in the near future. And our next 25 years, inshallah, we hope that they will be better than our previous or last 25 years. And I think I've taken enough of your time. There are some of the facilities on your right-hand side, left-hand side there. You're seeing the Kampala campus. What is in the middle is the King Fahd Plaza. It's a 10-storied building. And below it, that's the main administration block, where you have the offices of the rector and the vice rectors and the academic registrar. And what you're seeing on your right, all the way from top to bottom, is part of our university farm, which is around 200 acres. And this is one of the buildings that was constructed using the funds generated from the King Fahd Plaza, that endowment. Of course, the money is also controlled. They don't give us all the money. We have a 5-member committee that decides on what to use with that money. And this includes a representative from the Saudi government, a representative from the Minister of Finance, Minister of Education, then you have the rector of IUIU, and the director of the Islamic, the Saudi Cultural Center in Uganda. This is a females project, a females hostel at the females campus, which is still ongoing, and it needs some enough funds really to have it completed. This is part of the guest house extension that is has stalled also because of unavailability of funds. And these are the Kampala campus lecture room blocks and the administration block. The one you're seeing behind there, we're now in, I think it will be ready for occupation by the end of December, inshallah, because that's where the Faculty of Health Sciences is going to be. And this is another girls' hostel at the females' campus. This is their swimming pool, and thank you very much.
Thank you.